Hey guys, Deathglitter Magic here, and I'm having a heart attack. That's right. It's the big one. I'm coming, Elizabeth. Oh my god, that reference is old even for me. If you got that joke, leave it down in the comment section. Why am I so shocked though? Because Wizards actually did something that I said that they should do. Did they A, fire the head of research and development, B, fix foils, C, reintroduce expeditions, or D, finally bring over some of the IP from Dungeons & Dragons, which is owned by Wizards of the Coast as well, like for example Beholders? Well, it's not D, by the way. Aaron Forsyth still works there for some reason. Everybody mail him a whole bunch of siege rhinos and collected companies. He deserves it. Plus, maybe that'll make him think before he approves a card next time. I don't remember what I said B was, but it's C. They brought back expeditions. Now, they're not called expeditions this time around, and I think, with like the card expedition map, the word expedition pretty much refers to lands, and of course, expedition lands were all lands. So what they actually said was that for Kaladesh and the foreseeable future, which that I'm very happy about, they're going to be adding a new feature called the Masterpiece series. So that's the name of the actual, cards. That's how you reference their type, I guess. Well, not their type, but you know what I mean. And then in every single series, which is of course 2 blocks, they will have their own name. So in Kaladesh, they're going to be called Inventions. So the Masterpiece series will be Inventions. And it makes sense because the cards look absolutely beautiful. So they will exist at a rarity higher than Mythic Rare. And everybody, knows that Mythic Rares were a disaster. They're terrible. They need to be removed from the game. The pros don't like them. Casual players don't like them. F&M players don't like them. Nobody likes them. In fact, single sellers don't like them. It's just stupid. It devalues the rares and it makes my job harder. So why would it possibly be a good idea for them to print an even more rare card? That just seems like a terrible idea, but it isn't. Now what they said about the cards in the series is that they will all be reprints of existing cards with one exception. Some of the cards will be new, but they're actually in the block that they're released in. So some of the cards will be from Kaladesh and some of them will be from really old sets. So they almost did exactly what I told them to do, although I kind of like what they did with it, and I'll get into that in the next part. Now this is really interesting. You guys know how many expeditions were released, obviously, but for these new ones, they said there's going to be around 50 individual cards per whole entire block. So they said specifically for Kaladesh, the Inventions will have 30 cards, and for Aether Revolt, there will be 24 cards for a total of 54. And there won't be repeats in the block between the 2 different sets. That is a lot, so you'll be lucky to pull one at all, and to pull the one that you want, forget it. For somebody even in your city to pull one that you want, good luck with that. Just like Expeditions, they are 100% English. You could open a Russian booster pack and get an English Masterpiece card. They're just only going to print them in English. Kind of strange, but whatever. They're, of course, going to be premium foil only, so, basically everything is the same between these and Expeditions. They will be an MTGO, but nobody cares, and if you play it, you're an idiot. And they will not exist in Magic Duels. Here's the fun thing. Some of these are unbelievably powerful reprints from sets that have, this is not what they said, but have absolutely nothing to do with the block that they're in. They said that even if they're reprints, they kind of will have something to do with the block they're in storyline-wise, but they obviously won't be from the same plane because we've never been to Kaladesh before, so I guess that just wasn't really true. But I think they meant the artwork stylistically will look like Kaladesh. Here's the problem. If you open something in a pack in draft or in sealed, or, limited in general, the 2 formats, then you get to play with it. So if you open an unbelievably powerful card from Alpha, guess what? You get to play with it. We really needed an ultra rare throwing off games of sealed even worse. I mean, come on. This is the opposite of what the pros needed, but I'm pretty sure that that's the only downside to this. People are going to whine and complain and throw up all kinds of negativity. I've heard all the complaints already, and they're all completely illogical. People are saying, oh, but I want them. How am I supposed to pull them at that rarity if I want them? I'm going to have to open more product just to get one. No, don't. That's ridiculous. That's utterly ridiculous. You do not open product until you pull an ultra rare. That's just stupid. You just buy it. Find somebody who has it for sale and buy it, or find somebody who has it for trade and trade for it. That is a little bit more efficient than opening cases. I could do the math on how many cases it would take to open the one that you want, considering that they said there's 30 uniques and it'll take 144 boosters. Actually, it's really quite simple, 4,320 boosters. But yeah, don't do it that way. That's really stupid. Really, really, really stupid. So people saying, oh my God, how am I going to get the one I want? They're premium cards. Half of them aren't even legal in standard, or more than half, way more than half. If you want one, just get it on the singles or trade market. It's as simple as that. Psychologically, you should think of it as a free bonus, because that's what it is. They're adding value to every single box or booster or case that you open potentially. So as soon as you hit one, it's free money on top of the price of the set. And the funny thing is, these are so rare that they tend to not push down the price of like the rares and the mythics. People are not over opening to get to the expeditions like they did with BFZ and OGW. At least I don't think that's what they'll do, because now every set will have them. So it's not like, oh, I have to rush out and open way more BFZ than I ever would have normally, because one, I want the full art lands, and then two, I want the expeditions, because this is the only time they'll print anything like that, and I just want as many as I can for my collection. Honestly, those people should have just bought the single expeditions. But the full art lands, I totally get that. That makes sense. So the two compounded and people opened way the hell too many. It devalued every single rare in the set, and it was just a disaster, and I lost a lot of money on it. I lost well over $1,000 on BFZ. So now that people know every single set is going to have cards like this, it's not a big rush out and get it kind of thing. I mean, I think people are going to calm down over it. So it will not crash prices. It will do positive things to prices, because if you're like me and you open, 10 cases, 20 cases, whatever, you're going to get a certain amount of these. And it's just free bonus money. This is why this is genius. They managed to take Kaladesh, and it's worth X. Let's say it has a box EV of 150. So great, typical average EV. But then on top of it, they raised it by like $10 or whatever by putting these in it. Now, maybe they can make a super mythic, and it's half the rarity of a mythic, but people want it and they have to play with it. So people will open it. There's a huge demand. Everybody's running out, so everybody's opening more product just to get them. And it's, just driving down the price of everything, ruining everything. It's making standard more expensive. The cards would be $100. That would be a disaster. That is stupid. So here's what they did. They printed cards that are absolutely beautiful, and they're worth, a lot of money, but nobody needs them. They're all reprints, and they're all available in other forms. Nobody needs to have these cards. People will want them, but they don't need them. And I'm not talking them down like you shouldn't buy them. You absolutely should. If you're a collector, you like the way they look, you like the card, whatever, yeah, buy it. But you don't need them to play standard, and yet they're in a standard product. That is genius. Nobody can say, oh, I absolutely need 4 expeditions of this for my deck. No, you don't. You don't need them. Just buy the regular version for like $1. In this case, that isn't true. I think all of the ones that I saw were mythics, and they were the most powerful mythics, but you could just buy the regular mythics. And with the premium foiling and all that, are they really meant for play, or are they meant for collections, So they're taking a valuable product that nobody absolutely needs and putting it in standard, so that if you're only interested in standard, not interested in them, ta-da, free money. And if you are interested in them, you could probably find somebody to trade with or find a single online to buy for like a moderately okay price. You won't have to just open pack after pack till you hit the one you want. That is stupid, like I said. And those people that are interested in them are going to raise the financial return from the average box if you open them in bulk. It's so smart. And it backfired last time because people just bought way the hell too much of BFZ. But like I said, that's not going to happen this time. Wizards knows that single sellers hate them. And I mean hate them. We're so sick of certain sets losing us money. We are getting their product out there. We're the #1 market. We buy the most of the cards. We take all the time to ship them all around the world and then lose money on it. That is messed up. So they found a way to take a box and make it as a whole on the bulk more valuable so we can have more money in our pockets without pissing anybody off, without requiring anybody to play with the cards. It's just adding a collector's item to it. This is why I've been saying it for years. They need to do what Pokemon has done. Put little Planeswalker figurines inside of the fat packs, just as a little ultra low cost added value collectible thing. It would be absolutely stupidly brilliant because people would want them. I would want them. I could sell them. They're worth a little bit more. They're like production costs versus anticipated value, they're worth a fortune. But this time they redid it with Masterpiece cards, and that's fine too. So they solved the problem of making Standard more valuable without requiring Standard players to pay more money to play Standard. I mean, that's what they really did. That's how unbelievably smart that is. And they solved another problem, the reprint problem. Like, where the hell was Birds of Paradise and Damnation? Where are those cards? Why were they not in From the Vault Annihilation? Well, not the birds. And finally, the only reason that they threw Birds of Paradise back into Conspiracy 2 was because it was badly in need of a reprint. The prices were getting mental, and it was getting just outrageous to play Modern. Same with Modern Masters 1, 2, and 3, even as a concept. These cards are getting just out of control, and nobody can afford to play Modern anymore. So they're reprinting it because, one, why should they not make money on a giant, the number 2 format? And two, because if it costs $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in the next couple of years to build the top decks, nobody's going to play Modern. So they solve problems with that, but it's like they have to put reprints in dual decks. They have to put reprints in the Planeswalkers decks. They have to put reprints in draft-only sets. They have to put reprints in From the Vault. They have to put reprints in Modern Masters. And you add all those up, it's still not enough. I mean, there's so many cards that need to be reprinted from the last, a couple of years since 8th edition. Let's see, that'll be about 15 years. And it's so much time and so many cards they just can't keep up. They have stated that they absolutely are not going to put powerful reprints in Standard just for the sake of Modern players and Commander players and, everybody else. You can't just design Eldritch Moon and then say, well, we have to drop in a Snapcaster. You can't just drop in a Snapcaster. You can't do that. It'll ruin it. You don't just drop in power like that in Standard and think it won't have any effect. It's like, we have a carefully designed set with these careful mechanics, and then we're going to recycle this ancient card from years ago, and it's one of the most powerful cards in Modern, and I'm sure it won't have an effect on Standard. It just ruins all of their work. So here we go. Non-standard playable, ultra rares, in Standard, adding value to it, and solving the reprint problem, because there's 30 individual cards, and from what I've seen, only 5 of them are actually from Kaladesh. The other 25 are reprints. I might be wrong about that, though. Now, if you think about it, there is no downside. If you don't like the idea of masterpieces and expeditions and all that, ignore them. Don't buy them. Pretend that they were never invented. You could just close your eyes, cover your ears, if you have 4 hands, and go, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to participate in this. That's fine. It literally does not affect you in any way. Not at all. That's not true. The next time you go to buy the regular version of the card, it will have dropped slightly because now there's an expedition version or masterpiece version. So even if you ignore them and refuse, you just boycott them completely, it still benefits you. If you're somebody who plays draft, all you play is draft. Or all you play is, limited. We'll throw sealed in there too. You might pull one and boom, tons of money, pays for your draft. Plus the next one, plus the next one. Plus you get a super powerful card, although you might utterly dominate with that card, and that's not fair. That is a legit downside. If you play Standard Constructed, you might pull one, and hey, you've got more money. You just paid for the whole box with one lucky pull. If you don't pull one, that's fine. They're super rare. It's only like 1 out of every 4 boxes, give or take. So don't count on pulling one, but when you do, lucky you, you've got money. Yay, free money. If you're a Modern or Vintage or Legacy player or Commander, then ta-da, you just got a reprint. And if you can't afford the $80 Masterpiece Edition, then the Masterpiece Edition being printed, thousands of them going out and hitting, eBay, that should take a pretty big dent out of the real version. So if they do an Expedition Path to Exile, the regular Path to Exile, God, I keep calling it Expeditions. If they do a Masterpiece Path to Exile, then it will push down the price of the regular one slightly, very slightly. So you can go ahead and buy the boring one, and you just saved money. Wizards wins because they might sell a little bit more product because of it, theoretically. But the real benefit is they stopped pissing off single sellers because they added value to the product, and that's important. If I pull 5 cards that are worth $100 in my shipment, that's $500 extra dollars. On like a $5,000 shipment, that's 10% in 5 cards. You may have recalled I said I lost about 1.5% on Eldritch Moon. If it had a card like Expeditions or Masterpieces in it, I probably would have made 7, 8, or 9% profit just because of that little flip. They are that important to the singles market. I'm sure I'll find a reason to be pissed off at Wizards in the future, but at least they fixed that problem. I am 100% behind this, and if anybody has anything legitimate about why this is a bad idea or some kind of negative downside that I haven't considered, definitely let me know down in the comment section. Who knows, maybe I'm overlooking something. Probably not, though. And are you guys generally excited about them? I'm about to make, obviously, another video covering what the actual leaked cards are so far, because they're pretty cool. So watch out for that, maybe hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it, and I'll see you next video.